For today's shave, declaration Grooming 24mm B5 knot. This is the tall handle from Whipped Dog. It's already been kind of rinsed out and hydrated, but we're going to add, put it in the jar here and make sure that it gets that way. Just my preference with badgers. And the blade today, 37 uses is what we've got on this Nacet so far. And this little blade from Gillette is gonna go for 38. It's inside this razor here. This is a Wolfman WR1 at 0.67 gap. I'm learning it. I'm in my first maybe half a dozen shaves with it. This is the Italian Barber radio knob handle. I find it matches the slim style of this head very well. Someday maybe I'll get a better handle for it, but my style of handles, it seems to be kind of rare. So we'll see. The soap is Saponificio Varesino Dolomiti. I used about twice as much soap as I did last time I tried this, and so I'm going to alter the recipe a little bit. So here's the tub, and I do like to, for now at least, I am pre-soaking that for 5 to 10 minutes in hot water. It allows you to build the lather, load the brush. It allows you to load the brush a lot quicker. And that's also what the manufacturer recommends. Once I kind of have that done, I might start venturing out. And if with Williams, a 10-second load on a soaked puck was equivalent to about a 1-minute load on a non-pre-soaked puck. So I might try something like that in the future. Lather bowl, ridges, handle, interior lip. One neat thing about the interior lip there, not only does it kind of throw the lather back in to keep it from overflowing, but when I'm washing this thing, that lip gives me something great to hold on to when it's a slippery thing because of all the soap. And I'm going to try tonight my Irisch Moos. Got this used online, and it's a classic. I'm going to try it tonight. And I think we're ready to go. So let me get my face wet. And then, and that, yeah, instructions actually said use this bloom water here to kind of as a pre-wash. This soap has some really cool stuff in it. Pouring the rest of the bloom water out. I'm not going to wash this off my face. This has got some like antioxidants. It's got some silt in it, which I believe is why it's colored the way it is. What is this? Is this a citrus top note? Yeah. Kind of grayish when it's wet, black when it's not. All right. So face is ready. Take out the brush, and I'm going to give it a good shake to kind of remove about as much water as I can. And then I'm going to come at it with a, last load was 30 seconds. So, and I ended up with about twice as much lather, so let's go with 15 seconds. And 40 was right there on the clock. So 55 or 56 is going to be about where we stop. Stirring up that scent as well. And there we go. That's 15 seconds of lather. Probably be just fine. Yeah, that's a nice, it's a lemony citrus, but it's got some other notes in there that make me like it. It's not just a plain lemon citrus type scent. Okay, and so we'll start lathering, building up the lather in the bowl, and I will start to add water. And I added about 2.75 teaspoons last time. And so I'm going to add, we'll look for maybe 1.25, you know, 1 1/4 or 1 1/2, something like that this time. Yep, paste is already developing. So, I'm going to go ahead and load up 2 teaspoons of water, just in case it seems like that's what I need. This is just a wonderful lather. Slick, creamy. This is a more expensive soap, but they are hard, and so I think they'll last quite a while. But the performance is just crazy. So just with that half a teaspoon, you got this wonderful, creamy, thick, early lather forming. Add another half teaspoon, so now we've got 1 in there. And let's go ahead and do the 1 1/4, and let's see where that puts us. If you don't want to watch this live speed, I don't blame you. Watching a guy stir soap, I try to bring interesting shaving information if I can think about it, but you can change the playback speed on YouTube via the little gear icon in the bottom right of the video. Just hover over the video and it should appear. Change the speed to 1.5 might be a good place to start. Probably still be able to understand me in that situation. Now look at this guy here. With most of my other soap experience, this look is terrific and it photographs well, but that's a little too dry for shaving. It needs to be a little wetter so that it bonds to your face, and gives good glide, doesn't clump up. It's just a wonderful, I mean, creamy, very small amount of sheen on this, but it just looks terrific. Their bases are just so good. I think I'm going to have to add all the rest of this water, so 2 teaspoons in there. Then I'll do a finger check. It's cool once you stick with the soap for a while. You really get to learn it and watch its behaviors. You see the way it changes as you add water, and then you'll know when to stop. One of the things to look for, it's starting to get more flowy, starting to get smoother around. Let's kind of bring it up and look at the elasticity. It's starting to get elastic. Let us do the finger test now. We're gonna squeeze it together. Oh, pretty good cushion. I'd say that's a medium amount of cushion. then we feel, how well can I feel my fingertips, the ridges on my fingerprints. Difficult to tell that I have ridges there. So that is creamy and luxurious. All right. So we've got 2 teaspoons in it. I kind of think that that might need a little more. I don't want to get it on my face and have to start adding water. So let me add just a 1/4 of a teaspoon, because I do feel like I'm pretty close to the stopping point. And yeah, it starts to change when it's a glob there, that you kind of move around a little bit, and you can hear the sound change as well, so you can be looking for that. You can see the viscosity is different, a little more elastic now. Such a good soap base can really hold a lot of water and be a good soap with water in it, whereas some of them start to break down a little bit. So let's do a little test with this guy. Still good. Starting to feel my ridges just a little bit. Good cushion. Feels like a really good lather. Very nice. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 more 1/4 teaspoon. Probably let that be it. So that is 2.5. Because I can always add more water later, just in case I need to. Much harder to integrate if you, much harder to add more soap. You can't really do it to the bowl and have it be a quick thing. If you do overwater your soap, you basically have to take your brush back to your puck and just get some more soap that way and go right to your face. And do a face lather and build it up from there. All right, yep. Got some flexibility there. With some soaps, that rigidity that you see there, that would be too much. You need to keep adding water. Let's just see what happens if I go ahead and use this. Okay, just gonna get my face wet. This feels really good. Very creamy. Like the strength of the scent. It's not my all-time favorite one from them, but it's very nice. Lathered with this the other day, so if you want to read up more on how I talk about the scent, maybe check out that video. Feels very nice. The tips on this B5 are just tremendous. Haven't used it too many times, and so I'm hoping it relaxes some. It's really dense, and I like them without as much backbone as a lot of people. Trend right now is kind of high backbone brush with really soft tips. A lot of synthetics can accomplish that. I don't like the way they shove my skin around when I change directions, things like that. And I think we're ready to go ahead and shave. Just 1 day's growth today. My water is hard water, and I'll use whatever comes out of the cold faucet. This is, I'm getting a little bit of blade feel, but no pulling. I've definitely enjoyed smoother first passes from other razors and stuff. However, this blade has been used 37 times already. So I don't think you can kind of expect the same thing. I have learned with this razor head to keep the handle angle kind of open, and it's more mild. I'd say it's seems to be maybe a 6 out of 10 if I use kind of the normal handle angle, you know, 30, 35 degrees, but then it backs it down to maybe a 4, something like that if I open the handle a little bit, ride the top cap just a hair, and that's a lot more comfortable. Can't decide whether I want to trade with somebody the head, maybe where I don't have to work on the angle so much, because I've already got a dart from Blackland that's just a terrific, more efficient cutter, and so I don't really need to duplicate that. I'd like for my other razors generally to be kind of comfortable, and this one is, but I might like to make it more so. Let's see, did I get everything? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna rinse. So yeah, I had really good glide there. And so I like the lather mix very much. It seems like I hit it right on the spot. I added a little bit of the lather back to my brush here. If I need to get more, I can just go back to the bowl. That's what it's there for. But you'll notice on the side of my brush, some is kind of generating, so I can always just kind of bring that in. Switch to the painting and really make use of that side lather. I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, dialed this in nicely. The only question is how much soap is going to be left over. If I'm happy with that, then I can start reducing down the load time even further, maybe 10 seconds. So we'll see how that goes. All right. I felt the cutting of the hairs, not really a harsh pulling, but just a little bit of resistance. But I know that it'll be smoother, very comfortable from now on. Because I've used this razor to knock down 2 days of growth, and even in that situation, the second and third passes are just silky smooth, as long as I'm not really even feeling the blade. I hear it a little, and you may be able to, but I'm not really feeling the blade edge. Very nice, very comfortable. Especially when I'm kind of over in the fringes here and kind of the tender areas, I can lift that handle up a little bit to make sure that I take on a more mild angle. I need to go a little slower probably. Watch my angle and pressure carefully. My neck hairs go sideways, so by doing either from the top going down or from the bottom down going up. I basically just do 3 cross grain passes on my neck. I'm gonna rinse it. That was just some superb lather, creamy. Felt great as I was rinsing it off. I do have plenty left over, so I could maybe try the 10-second load. Leave a little bit of water on my face, and that seems to match up with this mix. There is a woody component to this scent that I really like. Third pass, so I don't have to do too much scrubbing, so I switch to the painting pretty quickly. Really, really nice lather. Little hanger there. So I've just put on my third pass. I've got maybe 2 passes in there of lather, so maybe I could back it down to 10 seconds. I wonder if I did a true direct ratio. So now what is this? 2.5 teaspoons. So if I did the math, you know, I could figure out the direct ratio there to bring down the water as well. All right, that would be reducing it by 1/3. So 2.5 divided by 2.5 times 0.33, you know, something like that, or no, 2.5 times 0.66. Or what, 2.5 times 2 divided by 3, something like that. So this Nacet, 38th use, and it's doing me proud. It's not really showing any signs of dying anytime soon. Now take a look at that lather right there. It's terrific. That's a good looking lather. Rinses easily from the razor. If it takes a second to rinse it away with kind of gently falling water and not a jet, then you're probably looking at a lather that's a little too dry. Now this razor, the 0.67 is above kind of the average gap, the average aggression, and so it is kind of designed to be a little more aggressive than average. And so I can definitely, if I'm not careful, generate some irritation. Wonderful. Face feels great. I don't feel any irritation right now. So I do see some length in several of the hairs in this region, which is typical for me. And so I'm going to put down a little bit of lather and do a 4th pass, a touch up of that area. Take my time, careful with my angle, pressure. You don't want to just stir up some irritation by doing this. Well, it's so funny. Right after you finish shaving something, you look in the mirror. So many times I've had it look like there's no hair there at all. And I exclaim to the camera, only to find that once I rinse and dry and I look back at it, a bunch of little hairs just sticking right up. I don't know, it's a funky thing. In this case, it paid off. I just finished rinsing and patted dry, and it is cut really, really well. Maybe 1 or 2 hairs escaped and are showing a little bit of length, but it is just superlative. Last couple of shaves have left some tips remaining, but it must just have been my technique. Whatever I did this time was a good thing. Maybe I should watch it and figure out exactly what I did, because it hit the money. Technique was on point. So very comfortable. We'll see if that stays without any irritation. I did a lot of buffing right there. Got to try to remember to keep the lather on there when you come back to it. This does have a bit of residual slickness to it to help protect you in case you do have to go back without necessarily putting soap on. But generally, you want to be real careful with that type of activity. All right, well, so I did my touch-up pass, and you know, this is almost as much lather as I'm comfortable leaving. Just have a little bit of margin in case I make a mistake and have to rinse out a brush, or you know, something like that. So looks just tremendous. It's notice there are a few little holes, bubble holes in there. Not a big deal. It's creamy and awesome. And I've had that happen on another SV soap. Tundra Arctica is maybe my favorite scent. It's probably in my top 3 scents ever. And I was working on it, trying to get those bubbles out. Well, this is probably the same soap type, and I bet I could use this same technique to do it. And even if there are a few bubbles like that, performance is just exemplary. All right, well, face feels great. I'm not going to throw on any of the of my aftershave quite yet. I'm going to do some cleaning up, maybe let my face recover. Sometimes if I throw on an alcohol aftershave, it kind of erupts in irritation. We'll see what happens today. So just to verify, I did 1 whole syringe plus this, which is 2.5 teaspoons. So I've used that radio knob handle twice now, and I really enjoy the balance of it. Some handles have knurling all the way down, and it just affects the look of it. It just doesn't quite look as the way I like it. The balance seems to be about right for that radio knob handle. So, I mean, who cares if it's $15 on top of a pretty expensive razor head, or underneath a razor head. It's stainless steel. It'll last a very, very long time, and it seems to be pretty well made, so I'm happy with it. I think it matches up with that head very nicely. So one of the cool things about this silt-based soap is they added some other things like I think A and B vitamins, just stuff to really help your skin out. And I'm not experiencing any kind of tightness or anything. I definitely feel like I could walk out of here without any kind of post-shave moisturization. I do have oily skin, but nonetheless, I think a lot of people could probably get away with that too. Just a really enjoyable piece of work here. How about that? 38 uses on that blade, and it gave me a way above average shave still. It's not fading, you know. It's doing well. The only thing I could think of is that it might not be doing that first pass quite as well as it might normally when it was younger. But it wasn't uncomfortable at all. You know, I just think it might have been a little smoother. So let's try the Irish Moos. Alcohol based. We'll see if it part of the reason I keep getting amazed and surprised and impressed with this blade is that so many times I get zero irritation in the feel. And I also get zero irritation when I apply something with alcohol. And that just means that I guess my technique is right where it should be. And I'm trying to be careful, especially with an older type blade. So this is a neat scent. It's definitely an older scent. You know, I like the green Irish tweed scent that is copied in so many soap makers. I really enjoyed that. Sterling's Sharp Dressed Man is a really good version of that. I thought this might be it, but it's almost like that, but it's almost like there's some woody or cedar notes in there, making it a little more like maybe woody and a little bit of musk. Yeah, coniferous, you know, fir, you know, something like that. Now with Ireland, they could be involving like the peat smell or something. This is definitely bringing back memories. So this must be akin to something that one of my relatives used to wear or something like that. How about that? Yeah. Yeah, so it is a very strong note of forest, coniferous type forest like cedar or fir. Very much. Wow, how about that? Have to see how I like that. We'll see. I like the strength so far in terms of, I like to be able to smell what I'm using. So after, in about half an hour, we'll see if I'm done with it, you know, if I wish it'd go away or not. All right, well, there we go. A great shave, really good, really happy with it. That SV soap is just tremendous. All right, I keep picking it up used. I haven't bought any of that new. It's kind of expensive, so I buy it used and I save a big chunk on it. All right, now, I hope there was something here for you that helped you out. And I think that's good enough for tonight. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care. Have a good night.